The Texas City disaster. That's what we're reacting to today. I have absolutely zero information on this. Don't know nothing about its background. I don't know what it's to do with. So, once upon a time on Raygo Reactions, our other reaction channel, I did start reacting to disasters. But somewhere along the way, that reaction channel just turned into music reactions. So I thought, why not get back to what I enjoy reacting to personally, which is food, disasters. Not that I like the fact that there's been a disaster. It's just I like stories, you know what I mean? So if you like stories, join me on this one. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Let's get into this. Get day. Press play.
On the 16th of April 1947, a small fire started on the cargo ship the SS Grand Camp, while it was docked at the port in Texas City. This small fire would begin a chain reaction of fires and explosions that would go on for 2 days, and amount to the deadliest industrial accident in the history of the United States of America, including one of the largest non-nuclear explosions in history.
See?
Texas City is located on the Texas coast at the mouth of Galveston Bay. Galveston Bay is one of the most important shipping hubs in the world.
No way.
Founded in 1893, the port of Texas City quickly became a focal point for industry. A group of investors secured permission to dredge a channel to link Galveston Bay to the Gulf of Mexico, massively increasing opportunities for trade. The economy...
Can I just say, this is exactly why I like reacting to documentaries like this, because how much have I just learned within 1 minute and 5 seconds or whatever we've watched so far? That's crazy. I never knew that Texas had one of the biggest ports in the world. That's crazy.
The city improved still further when, in 1900, the channel was deepened enough to accommodate ocean-going vessels. These massive ships brought a flood of new business into the city and caused a significant boom in the economy of Texas City. The port of Texas City continued to expand in the years which followed, becoming a truly international port during the pre-war period of the 20th century. Ships from England, France, and Germany would regularly stop there, and many new warehouses and storage tanks were built to cope with the new demand. The port even had a grain elevator and a dedicated electric power plant.
No way.
In 1940, Union Carbide built...
It had its own power plant. It must have been massive.
...chemical plant within the port, as chemicals and petroleum began to replace the traditional cargoes of cotton and grain.
And a chemical
During
plant.
World War II, the port of Texas City was used
Let's make a prediction. This fire's something to do with a chemical plant?
by the US government, which further increased the prosperity of the area. As World War II ended, many parts of the world were not so prosperous. In order to support the recovery of Europe, the US government offered one of their mothballed ships, the SS Benjamin R. Curtis, to France. France gratefully accepted and renamed the ship the SS Grand Camp, a name taken from a beach in Normandy. The ship was used by the French to transport all manner of goods. In 1947, it collected ammunition from Belgium before heading to Cuba and Houston to collect twine and peanuts. The ship then made its way to Texas City, ready to take on its next load of cargo.
Like it's got a busy life.
While the SS Grand Camp was docked in the port of Texas City in April 1947, it was loaded with 2.3 million kilograms, or 2,300 tons, of ammonium nitrate. This was a very
2,300 tons. God damn.
common cargo for ships in the 1940s, as it was a component for many munitions, and, in the post-war era, was also used as fertilizer. This was added to the existing cargo of twine, peanuts, tobacco, ammunition, engineering equipment, and cotton. It was noted by workers that the bags of ammonium nitrate were warm when they were loaded onto the ship, but nobody saw any reason to be concerned by this observation. On the morning of the 16th of April 1947, at around 8 a.m, workers on the dock spotted smoke coming from the cargo hold of the SS Grand Camp. They located a small fire, which they attempted to put out with a gallon jug of water. When this didn't work, they tried 2 fire extinguishers, but these also failed to completely put out the fire. By this point, the entire cargo hold had filled with smoke, and the dock workers were ordered to evacuate by the ship's captain. The captain also decided that no more water should be used to try and extinguish the fire, as too much water would destroy the cargo. Instead, all of the hatches on the ship were sealed and steam was pumped in.
I mean, it's a good secondary idea, to be fair. I was about to say it's a bit stupid because you don't want to tip water in it because you don't want to ruin the cargo, but the fire's going to ruin it anyway. But shutting all the doors is going to cut off the oxygen, which will essentially kill the flames. Well, that's what you'd expect.
Was hoped would smother the fire. This operation was carried out by the Texas City Volunteer Fire Department, and was a recognized method of putting out fires on ships while protecting the cargo. However, in this case, the heat of the steam may have caused the ammonium nitrate to decompose into nitrous oxide, a reaction which produced heat and raised the already dangerously high temperature and pressure within the ship. At 8:30 a.m, this pressure became so great that several hatches blew off and a column of yellow-orange smoke billowed out. The noise and unique colour of the smoke, which could be seen all around the bay, attracted spectators who lined up along the shoreline, all of them fully believing that they were stood at a safe distance. In most cases, they were not. At 9:12 a.m, the combination of heat and pressure within the SS Grand Camp caused the remaining ammonium nitrate to explode. The blast destroyed almost everything within 600 meters, or 2,000 feet, leveling nearly 1,000 buildings.
What? 1,000 buildings? Think about how many that is. You know what I mean? Go out onto your road now, unless you live in the country, if you live in the city or whatever, and have a look at all the buildings around you. You'll be lucky to count 20 with your eyes. 1,000 buildings this took out. That's crazy. I haven't really heard of this chemical either before, this powder. And this is a prime example of where health and safety has come from and why in 2025 it's absolutely ridiculous, because A, everyone's suing each other, but B, like, you just don't really know what you're dealing with. Like, that wouldn't happen today, you know what I mean? Well, you wouldn't expect it to happen today, but back then, because it's not happened before, it's sort of like you have to make a mistake to learn from it kind of scenario, if that makes sense. Like, I wouldn't say anyone was being stupid in this situation, because how were they really to know? What I will say is it sounded a bit like they gave that ship to France, and France were being a bit greedy with it. Like, let's just fill it to the absolute brim of everything. Everything that sells. Like, go here, there, and everywhere, pick everything up, bring it back, sell it. You know what I mean? And maybe they just bit a little bit too much off, more than they could chew, dealing with substances that they didn't really know anything about.
The shockwave was felt 400 kilometers,
Wow.
or 250 miles away. It shattered windows throughout Galveston and blew 2 planes cleanly out of the sky. The SS Grand Camp's cargo was launched high into the air, some of it at supersonic speeds. Burning bales of twine and debris rained down on the local area, causing further fires and destruction. The ship's anchor was later found in a crater near the Texas City Railway Terminal, 2.5 kilometers, or 1.5 miles, away from where the ship had been docked.
Bro. Do you know how heavy them anchors are? I'm sure they're a couple of ton. You know what I mean? And that blew 1.5 miles away. It blew 2 planes out the sky. I don't know what to say. That's crazy.
Some fires on the shore were quickly extinguished by a 2-story tidal wave caused by the explosion. Enough fires remained burning, though, that first responders were unable to reach the port to tackle the blaze aboard what little remained of the SS Grand Camp.
Blowing planes out the sky, flinging anchors 1.5 miles away, causing 2-story high tidal waves. Bro, why have I never heard of this? Is this taught in schools in America, or what?
The explosion also tore the nearby SS High Flyer from its moorings, causing it to drift across the harbour. The crew initially stayed aboard, but left when the smoke from the explosion worsened. A few hours later, 2 crew members returned to look for injured sailors, and discovered that the SS High Flyer's cargo, which also included ammonium nitrate, was ablaze. Beginning at 11 p.m, attempts were made to move the SS High Flyer away from the docks, but these efforts were abandoned at 1 a.m. the following morning. The ship simply wouldn't move. 12 hours after that, the SS High Flyer exploded, just as the SS Grand Camp had before it. Chunks of steel and burning cargo again rained down on a city that was still reeling from the events of the previous day. The first explosion is thought to have killed 567 people, including the 40-man crew of the SS Grand Camp, all but one of the firefighters in attendance and hundreds of spectators. The blast was so powerfully destructive that 63 people who died were never identified. The second explosion, though every bit as powerful as the first, killed only 2 further people, as the area had been mostly evacuated.
That's crazy.
The number of dead in this disaster is, at best, an estimate. Indeed, the actual death toll could be much higher. It is likely that, taking into consideration the number of undocumented workers and visitors to the port, that many of those killed were never recovered or recorded. Over 5,000 people were injured, with 1,784 requiring treatment at nearby hospitals. 500 homes were destroyed, leaving 2,000 people homeless. The cost of the damage was estimated to be around $100 million, over $1 billion in today's money, a figure that does not take into account the huge amount of oil that was burned up during the double explosion and ensuing fires. The entire country was shocked by the disaster. Donations poured in to help rebuild the city, with benefits held featuring stars of the day, including Frank Sinatra. Over $1 million was raised and $4 million more was paid out in insurance claims. But this still fell well short of covering the $100 million worth of damage that had been done.
Right.
Desperate for compensation to help them rebuild their lives, 1,394 surviving victims filed a class action lawsuit against the US government, which they believed was responsible for the manufacturing, packaging, and labeling of the ammonium nitrate that had contributed to the blast. A district court found in favor of the claimants, but this was overturned by the US Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals, a ruling that was affirmed by the Supreme Court. The decision was controversial. It was noted that an individual would have been liable if they had caused this disaster. That the government should be found to not be responsible, therefore, meant that the government was not being held to the same standards as its citizens.
Surprise.
Despite the judgment, Congress did provide some support to victims via legislation. By the time the last payment was made in 1957, nearly $17 million had been paid to 1,394 claimants. Many of the major companies that lost facilities in the blast promised to rebuild, and in most cases, they did. Some even expanded their operations, retaining dock workers to help with the rebuilding work. Today, the port of Texas City is the 14th busiest port in the USA, responsible for over $10 billion worth of foreign trade each year. Memorial Park in the city is home to a small cemetery where the 63 unidentified bodies are buried, and the anchor that was flung across the city stands as a memorial to the victims who died in April 1947.
That has absolutely blown me away. No pun intended. Rest in peace, everyone who lost their lives in that event. I just can't fathom the power of that explosion. Like, it blew 2 planes out the sky. What? It flung an anchor 1.5 miles away. Jump on the motorway and drive for 1.5 miles at 70 miles an hour. You know what I mean? That's a distance. That's how far it flung it. It caused a tidal wave 2 stories high. That's like the height of the house I'm in. That's absolutely insane. But yeah. Let me know if anyone watching remembers when this went down, or if there's any other disasters that I should react to. Leave it in the comments. If you're new here, subscribe. If you enjoy these sort of reactions, press the like button so I know to continue to react to stuff like this. And until then, I'll see you on the next one.
If you wanna see us do more of these videos, then like it and share it and subscribe, cause it's getting pretty expensive. We need to get monetized, cause it's getting pretty expensive. We can't afford loaded fries. Like it and share it and subscribe.